head shave number 9. I've just wet my head, as you can, I don't know whether you can see that, but I've really wet my head. I just used this old shaving towel and just wrapped it around my head like so. Today I'm going to use my trusty leaf razor. So let's make sure that's in focus. I'm going to use my Yaqi 28mm Bear or Beetlejuice brush, whichever you want to call it. I'm going to try and lather on the head this time rather than use a lathering bowl. So I'm going to use my Proraso Sandalwood or Proraso Red. Follow that up with my Humphreys Cucumber and Melon Witch Hazel. And then I'm adding, hang on, I've got to put my glasses on. This is an aftershave lotion from Superdrug and it's called Forest Fresh. So couple of pounds from Superdrug, one of our local chemist shops. And then I'm going to follow that up with Boots Freshwood aftershave balm. And that's basically going to be my shave today. I'm going to fill up my spray bottle and going to get everything ready and I'll be right back. I'm back. So I'm just going to go straight to the puck. I've squeezed out the brush, there's nothing left in the brush, and I'm just going to gently take some soap out of the puck. So yeah, it is a slightly different method in that before I used to leave a lot more water in the brush. Now I squeeze it right out and give it a shake. And I'm just loading the brush up. Right, I think I got enough on there. Get some more water on the head. And go straight to the head. Lovely scent to Proraso Sandalwood. This is quite dry at the moment. I'm going to add some water. I don't mind sort of a dry lather. I really don't, but I'm trying to improve my technique, so I'm going to build this a little bit. Add some water again. Let it build up. Yeah, so how's your week been? It's been pretty uneventful here. I mean, my daughter's still going through the process of doing all the sort of legal bits and pieces before she actually commits to buying the house that she's chosen. It can take a while here in the UK. I don't know what it's like in the US to buy a house, but you've got to go through quite a few hoops before you can actually buy a house. We have things called searches, and you have to have solicitors involved and all sorts. And then when you have had the searches done, what that does is highlights anything that you might need to consider when you're buying your house. So for instance, in this instance, it's come up, it's a freehold property. In other words, you own the land, everything below it and everything above it, including the air above it, I guess. but because the land was originally owned by the local council or the local government, there are things called covenants, which are conditions that can be placed on the house and are legally binding, and in this particular case they can't build an extension without getting permission, even though they own the land and the property and everything else. So they've just been sort of investigating that, because they do intend to build an extension on the back. So that could be, I mean, I don't think it will be a deal breaker, because I mean they could just build a conservatory, which is seen as a temporary building, so you don't really need to get permission for that. But apparently it's not planning permission, it is a covenant-based legal requirement for my daughter to get permission from the local council, or the local government as you might call it in the US, before she can even put a shed up in her garden. So she's investigating that, because that might not be something they're prepared to put up with. But I think you can, I'm not sure, correct me if somebody knows, if you can actually get covenants removed from properties. I don't know. Be useful to know though. It is a very old house. It's over 100 years old, this house, way over 100 years old. I would suggest certainly being built in the 1800s sometime. It's a little cottage, lovely little cottage. I'll see if I can get permission to post up an image of it at some point. But yeah, maybe tomorrow I'll post an image if she says I can. If she says I can. Bearing in mind it's a first-time house, so it's only a small house, small property, but it's fine for a first-time buyer. Right, first pass, going with the grain. Now these are the same blades I had in last time, which are the Wilkinson sword blades. This will be their second use. And they feel a bit smoother than last time, although they were fairly smooth last time. So it's the only thing that annoys me a little bit about this razor is the clicking sound it makes all the time. But other than that, this is a brilliant shaver, or brilliant razor for doing your head. I did watch somebody making a comment that, you know, this drive and this new sort of community of DE shavers and so on, one of the main arguments for going with a DE is that you're only using one blade on your face, not multiple blades, so you're not putting a cheese grater over your face. I see that point, but eventually I might, I mean, I haven't practiced with a DE on my head this week. It's something that I'd like to do. And I will get round to doing it at some point, and then this may be defunct if I prefer. I know when I did try it and I videoed it, I only did sort of like that, and it felt quite natural doing that. But I didn't trust myself going against the grain, and I didn't trust myself going around the back of my head with it. And that's the bit I've got to get used to. So I'll probably try and practice this week if I remember. But at the moment I want to get my money's worth out of this. No, but I think going back to the original comment about using multiple blades, yes, I agree. You know, it's not ideal to use multiple blades on your skin. You know, but I think one of the biggest arguments for using a DE is the cost of the blades. And again for this, yes, this has got 3 blades in it, so you are kind of putting a cheese grater across your head, but the blades are so much cheaper, so much cheaper. So here we go, let's put some more water on. And those that do it with shavettes or a cutthroat, they've got to be mad. Certifiable. I don't think I'd ever have the confidence to do that. I can imagine the first attempt of me using a shavette on my face, quite a long time ago now, was an experience, shall we say. And eventually I got to a point when I was using the shavette that I cut myself with last time. I got myself to a really good stage where I was very confident with it, and then I got a bit overconfident with it, and then I cut myself, and then I didn't use it for a while, and then I found I'd lost confidence with it and lost the technique. And so if you're going to use a shavette, you've got to keep using it, I think, to maintain that skill. In terms of the straights, i.e. the cutthroat razors, I'd love to get into that. I really would love to get into that, because that's really traditional, old-fashioned shaving. Second pass against the grain. But the problem with that, for me, is there's so much to learn with that. You have to learn how to use a cutthroat, which if you've learned how to use a shavette would be a fairly simple exercise, I think. I don't think there's a huge amount of difference. In fact, I think a shavette's harder to shave with than a cutthroat. But you have to learn how to strop. So you've got to buy, it's not just buying the razor itself, which can be very expensive. You can get cheap razors. I think the gold dollars you can get about £35, $40, honed by somebody. But you've then got to keep it sharp, so you've got to buy a leather strop. Now the strop can be quite expensive itself. That, you know, so you've got to learn the technique for that as well. So there's the technique, learning to shave with a razor, with a straight razor, learning to strop. Then if you're really going to get into it, you've got to buy the honing stones, which can be massively expensive depending on which ones you buy. But obviously the more money you spend on the stones, the more likely you're going to get a better result. But to learn honing as well, you know, it's a whole different league of shaving. If you're really good at it and you're really committed to learning it, it's great. But I enjoy DE shaving and don't feel the need to push it to straight razor shaving. I mean, it's something I'm curious about, and I have tried. You know, I did have a gold dollar razor, and I think in redecorating this bathroom, I think somehow it disappeared into the round filing cabinet, so to speak, which is a shame because I did enjoy it. Yeah, so but I'm not tempted to go back to straight razor shaving at the moment. I may do in the future. It's just the cost. You know, it's not just buying the razor, it's buying the strop. It's learning how to use the strop. It's learning how to use the razor. It's learning how to hone. Because you don't, you know, if you're going to spend a few £100 on a straight razor, I don't really want to send it off in the post. and have it damaged in any way. Because I'm not sure whether you can be insured for sharp blades, because they don't like you sending sharp implements in the post. So yeah, it's just too much of a risk. So if I was going to do it, I'd want to learn the honing, and I'd want to learn the stropping, and I'd want to learn, you know. So, and you've got to do the stropping. You can send it away to hone, but right, pickup pass. That's pretty much BBS, but I always do the pickup pass anyway. I think I might have caught myself there somewhere. That's stinging a bit. Not bleeding, but stinging. So yeah, I've thought about it, let's put it that way. So yeah, where were we? We were multi-blade system versus DE. Yeah, one of the main arguments was, you know, you don't want to be putting a cheese grater across your face. And I agree with that in many respects. I do agree with that. Well, I've got a bit thin here. I think I'm going to go back to the puck. Add a bit more soap. But doing your head is a different kettle of fish in comparison to doing your face. Your face doesn't have all the nooks and crannies and all the, you know, there isn't a flat surface on your head, whereas you can make flat surfaces on your face. So this is ideal because it's on a pivot, as is, there's my old Mac, as is that's perfectly adequate. You know, you can use that for your head. It's not that I've got to give permission to anybody, it's not my place to do that. I have cut myself, look. But at the end of the day, for your head, I think it's a different school of thought. One day I will use my DE on my head, that's for sure. And I'm looking forward to doing that and actually shaving with the DE on my head. Really am. I just haven't practiced this week. I don't think it'll be long before I do have a go and I video it, but I've only done it that once on video and I haven't done it since off video. I haven't practiced, so I want to get it right. I don't want to make a mess and frighten everybody off, because there are people who look at this video and they're just trying to do their research as whether it's a good idea to shave with the old-fashioned way, and then they look at a video like mine, like my last shavette video, and they go, oh Jesus, I'm not going to do that. So sorry if I used a bit of language there. I do try and avoid doing that, but yeah, it is what it is, really. You take your choice which way you want to do it, and at the end of the day, I would highly recommend, if you're head shaving, investing in a leaf or a Mach 3. You don't need any of these fancy Gillette Fusions. You're falling for the marketing. The Mach 3 is perfectly adequate to do your head. I wouldn't have thought there's a huge advantage. Please put a comment below if you think there is, but you know, I can get as good a shave with the Mach 3 as I can with the leaf. Maybe with a bit more work with the Mac. But I've got a BBS shave now, 2 passes and a pickup. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So anyway, I've been ranting on about DEs and multi-blades and everything else, and I've got even more water on my t-shirt, so making a mess. So let's have a rinse off. dry my head, because this one's dripping. Dry my head off. So I rinsed off with cold there, so I can go straight on now with my Humphreys. But if you're using a Mach 3 on your face, again, if you're doing 3 passes and you're doing it properly, you'll get a really good close and BBS shave. But the blades cost you a fortune. I mean, yes, they've gone down, but they haven't gone down as cheap as the DEs. The DEs are far cheaper. You know, I mean, you're still going to be paying about anywhere between £10–14 for 4 or 8 Mach 3 blades. I don't know, I haven't looked lately. But you're still paying a lot more for the cartridge razors, which you're throwing in the bin, which isn't doing the environment any good, at least with the SE or DE, so single edge or double edge blades. They can be recycled. I stick mine in an old a mini Absolute vodka sort of container. I just drop them all in there. I don't know whether you can see. So I just drop them all in there, and when I'm finished with it, I'll just throw that in the recycling, and I'll get another container like that and start again. Free. Right, I'm using the aftershave now. Wow! It caught there where I cut myself. Definitely know about that one. And let's go on with the balm. So this Boots balm, I don't know whether everybody has the same experience of Boots balm as me. It's quite thick, and in this glass bottle it can be a bit awkward. Ooh, like I've got too much out there. No. It is quite thick. So, and it's difficult to control the flow as it comes out of the bottle. So I've probably got too much on here, but... And that's my head shave number 9 done. Comment below and continue the debate about multi-blades and single blades and double blades, and you know, they're great. They are great. They'll do the same job as a DE, but you'll pay more for that thing on the top there. And this handle is plastic, so you know, when you throw it away, it's not environmentally friendly at all. Whereas this is made of metal and has disposable blades that are recyclable. So I can take the blades out of that, put it in my little vodka pot there, and put it into recycling, and it will be turned into something else and reused. So, which you can't say about the plastic handled cartridges, and the whole head is made of plastic. So that's my opinion. I've only used that Mach 3 a couple of times on my head when I was learning the technique. And as soon as I got that leaf razor, I've been using that. So, and I won't go back to the Mach. So that, I mean, my son still uses it. He still uses the Mach. I'm trying to get him to do the DE shaving a bit more, but he'll only do it when I'm around. So, and we're off camera. He won't come on camera. I wish he would. He's done it about 3 times now, I think, you know, with me helping him. But, oh, there's a little bleeder. But yeah, so that's me for now. Head shave number 9. It's goodbye from me. I'll see you tomorrow for my face shave. And goodbye from the leaf razor. Bye bye now.